Hi, I'm V. Today we're going to be talking about one of the world's biggest conspiracies, shape-shifting reptiles. So without further ado, let's jump right into the top 5 evidences of shape-shifting reptilians. Number 5, ancient mentions. Mentions of half-human, half-reptile beings date extremely far back. Many reptilian beings are seen in mythology from Greece, Egypt, South Asia, Maya, Eastern Asia, and South America. In almost all of these depictions, the reptilian beings were seen as objects of high standing, either as strong warriors, rulers, or godlike beings. In others, they were viewed as troublesome, evil beings who would enter civilizations and manipulate the system in their favor, without anyone being the wiser as to who the culprit of the issues was. In ancient Maya, Shak is the name of the god of rain and thunder. He is depicted having a human body, showing reptilian or amphibian scales, and an inhuman head with fangs and a long nose. He was viewed as a patron of agriculture. In the Bible, the serpent was a symbol of evil power and chaos, but it was also a symbol of fertility, life, healing, and rebirth. In Greek mythology, Echidna was half a beautiful woman and half snake. She was described as a flesh-eating monster who was neither mortal nor god. She did not age or die. She was made denizen of the underworld and was given 100 heads, presumably snake heads. In Japanese folklore, there is a creature called the kappa. Said to be roughly the size of a child, the kappa has webbed hands and feet, it's greenish yellow in color, and it has scaly or slimy skin. The kappa is capable of shifting the position of its limbs, seemingly absorbing an arm or leg through one side and protruding it out from the other. Yum. Despite their small frame, they are said to be stronger than a grown man. The kappa would grow upset and become harmful if they were not viewed and respected as gods. The depictions of reptilian humanoids definitely differ throughout ancient mythology, but the cunning, powerful, godlike view of them does ring true throughout most cultures' variations. When you compare that to conspiracies of modern day, like humanoid reptiles secretly ruling the world, the conspiracies start to sound a little more substantiated. Number 4, the Lizard Man of Scape Ore Swamp. The Lizard Man of Scape Ore Swamp is a being said to inhabit the swampland of the area. Its first mentions and sightings were in the 1980s, where it gained a lot of popularity from newspaper outlets, television programs, and radio shows. On July 14, 1988, Lee County sheriffs investigated a report of a car that had been damaged overnight while it was parked at home. The home was near the edges of the Scape Ore Swamp. The car was found with tooth prints, scratches with hair, and a trail of muddy footprints that were left behind. After hearing the news of the attacked car, 17-year-old Christopher Davis was encouraged to report his own damaged car. Christopher claimed to have seen a creature that attacked his car, describing it as green, wet-like, about 7 feet tall, with 3 fingers, red eyes, skin like a lizard, and scales like a snake. Seems like he really got a good look, huh? Christopher claimed to have been driving home at night and got a flat tire. After fixing it, Chris saw a creature walking towards his car. Christopher quickly got into his car and began to drive, but the creature jumped on top. Chris slammed on his brakes, causing the creature to roll off, and then Christopher took the opportunity to drive away. Reading this made me happy because there are too many people who are like, I'm just gonna get out and see what it was because it's dark and that seems smart to me. Anyway, the coverage on the story only increased after Christopher Davis publicized his claims. The press really helped the tourism and economy of the town. Shops began selling Lizard Man t-shirts and merchandise. Newspapers had so much to write about, and people came from all over in the hopes that they would catch a glimpse of the Lizard Man. Many people at the time did not believe Christopher's story, though the recount Chris provided never wavered or differed. Some people thought that Christopher's claims were nothing but a publicity stunt, as there had been no other sightings. Others questioned why the creature hadn't attacked anyone else, seeing as it had reacted so aggressively towards Chris. Some believe that the Lizard Man is possibly a living dinosaur, having evolved in the same way that primates did. Now they're bipedal creatures that hide in the shadows out of fear. And let's be honest, Homo sapiens don't have the best track record with uncanny creatures, so I could understand why lizard people would be hesitant to step into the spotlight. Whether the Lizard Man of Scape Ore Swamp is real or not, the attack on the car has still not been solved. What other creature could have possibly done that much unprompted damage to a still, unmoving vehicle? Number 3, reptilian conspiracy. Lizard people rule the world? Though the theory sounds absolutely insane when brought up in a single sentence with no other information, it actually does make some pretty interesting observations and hypotheses. So for these next few points, I'm going to ask you to open your minds and really listen, because it's pretty interesting and there's a lot to talk about. As I mentioned earlier, depictions of reptilian humanoids have been seen all throughout history. To summarize the humanoid reptilian conspiracy, many believe that a race of shape-shifting reptilians have infested the world, are running governments, causing uprisings, and have high-class influential standings. David Icke, a British conspiracist, believes that an interdimensional race of reptilian beings called archons have hijacked the Earth and are stopping humanity from unleashing its true potential. He believes that a shape-shifting species of archon human hybrids exists, and that they are members of the Illuminati, or the Babylonian Brotherhood, which are organizations that manipulate global events. The archons feed off of the negative energy and fear that these world events create. Icke believes that the first reptilian human breeding program occurred 200,000 to 300,000 years ago, and the most recent was 7,000 years ago. In an interview, Icke stated, "When you get back into the ancient world, you find this recurring theme of a union between a non-human race and humans, creating a hybrid race." From 1998, I started coming across people who told me they had seen people change into a non-human form. It's an old age phenomenon known as shapeshifting. The basic form is like a scaly humanoid, with reptilian rather than humanoid eyes. Icke also believed that there is another dimension which the reptiles originated from. So this is where the theory gets very hard to communicate with a straight face, but open minds, my mind is open. The reptiles in the 5th dimension order and control the humanoid reptiles in the 4th dimension, our dimension. He claims that they came here for a substance called monoatomic gold, which can increase the nervous system's capacity drastically. After ingestion, the humanoids can process large amounts of information. It speeds up transdimensional travel, and it allows them to shapeshift from reptilian to human. Some have given him credit, applying that he was using an allegory to demonstrate the alienating nature of capitalism. Icke refuses to accept that credit, as he often repeats that his theory is not an allegory. It is in fact literal. There are no hidden conspiracies beyond his conspiracy. Icke also believes that the Archon bloodline includes 43 American presidents, 3 British and 2 Canadian prime ministers, several Sumerian knights, and Egyptian pharaohs. The bloodline is also said to include the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, establishing families of the United States, and the British House of Windsor, and the British royal family. Number 2, caught in the act. Many have reported seeing the reptilian side of people. Now, how do they know? Here is a compiled list of features to look out for in this shape-shifting race. 1, reptilian eyes that can be seen if you look closely enough. Some say it's possible to spot them only in the midst of shape-shifting. 2, scales or hints of green that may be seen on the skin while a reptilian is transforming into its humanoid state. 3, hologram flickers. Reptilians are so good at hiding their identities that they often forget they're hiding such a big green scaly secret. Sometimes their disguise can become more apparent when their hologram skin glitches. 4, your intuition may alert you of a nearby reptilian. From some smaller sources, there are a couple more things that people will tell you to keep an eye out for. Eating raw meat, basking in the sunlight, eating live rats, having different colored blood, blinking less than the average person, walking slightly differently, drooling, eating live rats. Just strange, almost unnoticeable subtleties that very few people would question, like eating live rats. So, clearly, it is difficult to catch proof of a reptilian humanoid. I mean, most people would eat their live rats in secret. So you would first have to get close with them and spend a lot of time waiting to catch just a small glimpse of their mask slipping. Number 1, your Fav Celebs. Many celebrities have been caught on camera shapeshifting. Our favorite, David Icke, claims to have seen the former British Prime Minister Edward Heath's eyes turn jet black while waiting for an interview in 1989. In 2017, while performing at a concert in front of hundreds of people, Justin Bieber supposedly showed off his true lizard nature. Fans at the concert claimed to have seen gross colored scales all over Bieber's body. and in 2014, a video was released while he was under arrest for his DUI. In the video, his eyes blink in a completely inhuman way. No official explanation has been released, and non-skeptical minds simply believe it to be a technological glitch. In 2013, during an interview with Barbara Walters, Miley Cyrus's right pupil narrowed into a vertical slit, leading people to suspect she too belongs to a race of lizards. And this one wouldn't surprise me much. I mean, she isn't a stranger to secret identities. Her ability to shapeshift by just putting on a wig? Yeah, she definitely has some non-human talent. In a video of Rihanna, her eyes blur in such a way that people now believe she too is a reptilian humanoid. Mark Zuckerberg, who many often call inhuman, has also been accused of being a lizard person. But this one I find a little unfair because there's no actual proof. Many just believe his awkwardness and reactions to common situations are inhuman. And if that's all it takes to be accused of being a lizard, I think I may be on a lizard human watch list. Mark even posted a video denying the allegations, but even I have to say, the video wasn't very convincing. David Icke also said that Queen Elizabeth was seriously reptilian. Seriously, he said that. Many more celebrities have been caught on camera, shapeshifting or displaying lizard-like attributes, and they haven't been met with the most kindness. But if Rihanna was ever officially outed as a reptilian humanoid, I would just pretend she wasn't. Or I'd do a cute lizard look with my collection of Fenty products in support. Listen, it may sound outlandish, and many ridicule those who believe this story, but imagine how ridiculous you'd feel if it was proved true. Like, if you found out that your friend who is always eating live rats was actually a lizard person, you'd feel pretty silly. Now for the highly requested outro. Thank you for joining me today as we recap the evidence of shapeshifting reptilians. Again, I'm V, your new sarcastic host. If you have any suggestions or recommendations, leave a comment or DM me on Instagram. I'm very open and susceptible to peer pressure and criticism.